We are remembering the life and legacy of John McCain this morning, a war hero, senator, and presidential nominee, after he lost his brave battle with brain cancer yesterday at the age of 81. Our panel joins us right now to talk more about that. Ed Rollins is former White House advisor to President Reagan. He's a Fox News contributor. Mary Kissel is back, editorial board member for the Wall Street Journal and also a Fox News contributor. And Greg Jarrett joins us this morning, Fox News legal analyst and author of the top-selling book, The Russia Hoax, the illicit scheme to clear Hillary Clinton and frame Donald Trump. Greg, good to have you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Great to see everybody. And Ed, you go back with Senator John McCain, don't you?
I first met John McCain when he came back from Vietnam, from prison in 1973. He handled the Senate congressional relations for a while. I was doing congressional relations. I was the Assistant Secretary for Transportation. So we hung out together. We all were involved in the Watergate and what have you. He was always a man of great fun, great integrity, great intellect. He wasn't always a happy warrior. Sometimes he was a grumpy warrior, but he was always a warrior. And I think the only battle he ever lost was this one, and he lost it with great class and great. There will never be another one like him, and I say that in a very positive way. And I've fought with him on many occasions. I loved him on many occasions, but he was an extraordinary human being, and the Congress was very lucky to have him. The country is very lucky to have him.
He was a maverick, and you know when he named Sarah Palin as his running mate, initially I thought it was brilliant.
Right. Well, in a way, it was brilliant. For about 3 weeks, she drove the agenda, and again, you know, he was the most beloved candidate ever to run for president by the media. Unfortunately, not so much by the conservatives. But at the end of the day, the country was well served by him, and the veterans of this country owe him an undying debt for all the things.
And the world as well.
Absolutely.
Today, we're talking about world issues. Mary Kissel, I want to get your take on the president's decision on Friday to stop Mike Pompeo from going to North Korea because of the challenges that the U.S. is having with China largely, and I guess North Korea as well.
Yeah, I thought it was a very encouraging sign, Maria, because let's be honest, there hasn't been a lot of progress since President Trump met Kim Jong-un in Singapore in June. And I think it was right for the president to acknowledge that and not to reward the North Koreans with another meeting with a cabinet level official. Now, President Trump, remember, called off the Singapore summit before he called it back on again.
That's true. Good
so
point.
I hope that he sticks with this decision, but it's a step in the right direction.
What do you want to see happen in terms of the U.S. and North Korea? Just complete denuclearization? I mean, what would be victory?
Well, victory, according to the White House, and we agree with this on the editorial page, is complete, verifiable, irreversible denuclearization. And the Trump administration has acknowledged that dragging out talks in the past has not worked, that bribing North Korea doesn't work. But they have a big problem in the South Korean administration, Maria, because you have a government there in Seoul that is very far to the left and that wants rapprochement with the North at any cost. Yeah. So if there's a problem here, it's not just China that we have a problem with, it's our ally and friend in Seoul.
So many incredible issues going into the midterm elections, not to mention the issues around the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the president now attacking Jeff Sessions in a louder voice. Greg Jarrett, you wrote the book, The Russia Hoax. Your thoughts on the president's tweets this week, basically pointing out that Jeff Sessions, according to the president, is not doing his job.
Well, the president's absolutely correct. First, at the outset, Jeff Sessions betrayed the president. Sessions told the Senate Intelligence Committee he began his recusal his first day in office. He concealed his intentions from the president, so the president was betrayed from the outset. And then Jeff Sessions has taken very little action to go after, as I name them in the book, the law enforcers who became the lawbreakers. He should have renewed and reopened the investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails, gone after her for the destruction of evidence under a lawful subpoena. And why hasn't he investigated Hillary Clinton and her campaign paying a foreigner, a British spy, for information from Russians, which was then used as the basis for the Trump-Russia investigation and wiretap warrants.
Right.
All of that should have been done.
And next week, Bruce Orr, the number 4 guy at the Justice Department, will testify and answer questions behind closed doors. What are you expecting from the Bruce Orr testimony, Greg?
Well, I have 63 pages of Orr's notes, emails, and text messages between himself and Christopher Steele. There are going to be a lot of questions about the nefarious activities between those two men in pushing the Trump-Russia collusion hoax.
Well, you know, this is probably the most consequential midterm elections that we've seen in a long time, Ed Rollins. Do these issues come up? Do these issues drive voters, or is it largely economic or something else in November?
Well, every race will be different. The interesting thing in this race is there's 66 races in the House that are listed as toss-ups or lean one way or the other. Only 4 of those are Democrats. Most of them are ours. We have 39 Republicans either retiring or running for other office, biggest vacancy since 1930. So my sense is you got to go out and you got to take these new candidates, the Democrats, apart. You got to, and so the issues that we want to run on, the economic issues, what have you, are a little tougher. And there's 10 weeks left to go. A ton of money out there. Bloomberg, the former mayor here, has put $80 million into Democratic races.
Yeah.
Clearly has defined himself. We have raised tremendous amount of money on our side. So every race will be well funded, but it's just a question of time. What can you do?
The outcomes have been positive, whether it's economic outcome or foreign policy outcome. I want to get your take on the outcomes when we come right back, Mary Kissel. Let's take a short break. The panel stays right here. More in a moment when we come back.